welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a garden tour. I was like, if I'm promising you guys videos about our garden this summer for homeschooling, I should probably give you a tour of it and get started on it. We've actually been gardening for a few months now, and it's been a slow process because we live in Ohio, and you know, Ohio is a 6A, which means that we have less time to grow than other places. So it's also our first time gardening, and so it was a trial and error type, or it still is. It is a trial and error type of gardening this year for us. So I wanted to make sure I get this video up for you guys. The video was filmed yesterday. Today is the 17th of June. So June 16th, 2020 is when you will see this, is when this was filmed, the video I'm going to show you guys. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more content like this, homeschooling content, all about our garden over the summer, things like that. And the like button lets me know you're enjoying this content. And let's go ahead and just go look at the garden. Okay, so first we will start with what is on top of my table out on the patio, and that is my salad mix. So we grow it very concentrated in a pot here, and it works just fine. We just cut as we need it. We need to eat a lot of salad here soon. You can see it's starting to really pile up. But you can get, I go off of MI Gardener's information. You can get like 5 pounds of lettuce this way compared to doing the normal rows where you'd get, like he said, about 2 pounds. So that's what we do. And then over here are a ton of things that will go eventually out into the yard. I'm just working on building some bird cages so that the birds don't get into the plants, because we have American robins in our yard, which, if you don't know, they're super aggressive birds. And so I kind of have them close where I can chase them off, but they'll soon go out in the yard. But here we have, these are my blueberries. This variety is called Dukeberries, I believe. That's what it says on this tag, Dukeberries. And they're quite large berries if you look. There's a few starting to ripen. And we've had a few of them off of this tree, and it's a very delicious variety. So Dukeberry, I believe, is what it's called. You see there, I could be wrong, but that's the kind we got for this one. And all the white powder is diatomaceous earth. It is an organic way to keep pests at bay. This right here is another blueberry variety. I think the berries are not supposed to be this small. I think I'm having issues. This one is a blue crop blueberry, is what it's called. And if you notice, it's defoliaging itself, which means the berries aren't getting the energy they need. Like if you look at this one, there's not one single leaf on that entire stem. So I think something's wrong. I will have to call the nursery and figure it out. But these might not be good berries this year, considering they may not have been able to grow the way they're supposed to. This here I got from a random guy who just grows these. It's an elderberry bush, and I have had some issues. This plant is kind of hard to diagnose what's wrong. So there's still some spotting I haven't figured out, but it hasn't grown. If you look at that, it hasn't grown. But I did have some major issues before I had to cut it off. I think it might have been a disease that's hard to figure out about. I couldn't find any info on the kind of spotting it had. But this is the oldest part of the plant, and there is the elderberry starting to bloom. It's the only one on the entire plant that I can see. This is just a standard green bell pepper, and it's just, you know, still growing, still a little baby there, so it's got time to grow. And down here are some butternut squash, and one of those obviously needs to get potted in the ground ASAP. I might find people to give these to. I have no need to have 4 squash plants. That's a lot, so I'm going to find homes for all of them. And here is a baby tomato. This is an indeterminate variety. So I just potted it from a significantly smaller pot, and then it'll probably graduate to one more size. By the way, all of these will stay potted. This is not the ones I have in beds. I'll show you those in a minute. And obviously cilantro here. We need to start cutting and using some of it before it starts to flower, because I think it probably will soon. I need to check it. This here is a cauliflower. The broccoli never made it. None of them germinated at all, so I gave up on those. But this one broccoli survived, not broccoli, well, this one cauliflower survived, so I'm just kind of going with it and seeing what happens. This is a determinate variety of Tomato, I didn't think it was going to make it, honestly. I still don't know. It's just not doing that well. And same here. This, I believe, too, is a determinate variety, which means that it only gives out one harvest of fruit and then it dies off. So it's not the type of tomato plant that will give you the whole summer's worth. That's the one that will give you the whole summer's worth. This here is what I'm excited for, and it is blackberries. As you can see, they are sensitive to the sun. If you have them in too much sun, they do scorch. I did learn that, but a lot of them are still surviving. If you look, this variety is called baby cakes. So they are black and red in color, and like I said, you can see where the sun has scorched some of this. So if you get this, be careful not to give it too much of a direct, really hot sun all day long. So yeah, that's that baby. And here are some flowers I got before we go out to the garden beds. This is just a hanging basket. I still have to figure out where I want to hang it. And where's the card? This is called zinnias. So this is a hanging basket of zinnias. And these are all perennials right here. This one is not. And perennial means they come back every year, and annuals obviously do not. But this here is the double the sun coreopsis. I don't even know, but I thought that was beautiful. This here is a lilac, I believe. It will be so beautiful. Tiny rocket asiatic lily. So that's what it is. Not lilac. So I think that's going to be pretty when it blooms. This one here, I'm still figuring out where to plant these, so they're just kind of sitting here. This is a dash violet Dianthus, and that's going to be gorgeous when it comes out. And this one's really interesting. It is called a Arizona sun blanket flower, and look at the picture. They're going to be gorgeous when they bloom. So only one so far has started, but yeah, I'm really excited to see how that one turns out. And this one here, let me move my kid's bike. This one here, I am not sure what the heck it's called. You see all the pots back here. I'm not sure what this is called, but it's so beautiful. If you look inside the flowers, they're gorgeous. That one looks like it might be dying, but yeah, they're so pretty. And that one's really belling out. This one is supposed to attract hummingbirds, and I haven't seen a hummingbird yet. I don't know when they come, but it's here waiting on the hummingbirds. So that's what I have here. Now let's go out to the beds. So this here is my largest bed. Still working on it. Work in progress. It's up against the garage, you can see. And this first half will get decent sun. The back half won't. So whatever I put back there has to be okay with shade. But yeah, this is where I'm at. Up here's the plant. I can't remember what it's called. It's a hanging basket though, obviously. And I can't reach up there to see what it's called. But they're really pretty. This here took forever to find, and it is, excuse all this wood, I have a project going on. It's a mess back here because I'm working on so much stuff. This here is an Anberry raspberry bush, and it took me forever to find one, like over a month. I researched it for months before I made the decision. I'm happy with this decision. We have harvested 3 berries so far. Like, that's what it looks like when you harvest that kind of yellowish spot, if you can see it. We've harvested 3 berries. They taste amazing. They really do have like a tropical apricot taste, so that's very accurate in its description. Highly recommend this type of raspberry bush. The marigolds are everywhere because if you don't know, marigolds give off a scent that insects really don't like, and it masks the smell of the plants they do like. So you have to get the smellier versions of marigolds, and this will work for you. I don't know if my peas are going to make it here. These are some peas. I have more if I have to plant them. But I moved them from a different bed over there, and they just don't look good at all. So I don't think they're going to make it. Hopefully my finger's not like poking in front of the camera too much. But I'm going to trellis them today. These will be trellised today. I just transplanted them over here like 2 days ago. They just, I don't know, they're not looking good. So I don't think they'll survive, but we'll see. And then we come over here, and this is a grapevine. And this is Concord. They had about 5 options. Only 2 were good for like snacking on. The other ones are more for making wine. So I got Concord, and we'll see how I like it. If I don't like it, I can always get a different one next year. So we'll see. Then we come over here. This one's fun because as you can see, I still have marigolds at the corner of every box. And up here, I don't know if it'll ever come in, but up here I planted lavender, but as you can see, nothing has came from it. This here, I'm gonna cut that off later, it doesn't look good, is a mystery plant, and I'm starting to think it's another one of those, which we'll talk about, which those are zucchinis. This was supposed to be a bell pepper when I started it in a container to grow. It just never looked like a bell pepper, so I was like, okay, it's something else. And I used an app, and the app claimed it was pumpkin. I have not had a pumpkin seed at all, so I'm really confused as to why it thinks it's a pumpkin. And you can hear a bird sweep up right there to scare birds away. That's what the sound is. But I think it's a zucchini because it's really starting to look a lot like those. So it might not be a pumpkin. I think it's zucchini, but we'll see. So it's just out here kind of growing, and it is starting to bud if you look down in there. So we shall see. This here is the only collard green that lasted. I did have a second one that's currently growing in a pot. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, this is a collard green, still pretty tiny. We'll see how it goes. I'm not very confident in it, but we'll see. I think this poor zucchini down here is not going to make it. I think I planted 3 too close together, so that might not ever make it. So I might end up pulling that one, but these 2 zucchinis are doing well, and I built this trellis. They will go up the trellis as time goes on. None of them have budded yet, but as you can see, well, they've budded as you see down there, but none of them have grown any fruit. Should be any day now though, because I'm at, I think 50-60 days is when you start to produce fruit. I should be right around there about now, so we'll see. It's been a slow season because we had a cold start. What? No bugs. No bugs. No mommy. No mommy. So every morning we do come out here and flip every single leaf to check for bugs. We do it every night. That's dirt. Bugs. We do it every morning and every night to check for eggs or bugs. And luckily I have not had any issues yet. But from what I understand, your first 1 to 3 years of gardening, you won't really have issues because word hasn't gotten out for bugs. So no, I'm so bad. My finger's like all in the way. Sorry guys. And this one is doing beautifully. It's growing like crazy. These 3 over here are cucumber. This one's doing amazing because those 2 originally got pulled up by the robins I told you about that we had here.
No buggies.
Yep, no buggies. Thank you for looking. These 2 I had to replant because they were just ripped out of the ground by the birds. So they're way slower in behind because this one is the only one the birds have not bothered. Hopefully they continue to not bother. This is where the peas were at, but I ripped them up. And I'm going to plant carrots there here soon. Vivi wants to try carrots. And right here I have, I don't see it yet. There's only a few coming up. Herbs take a while. This is garlic chives, and over there is going to be a row of oregano. These here are some green beans that are growing. So I've only had a few pests on those, so we're doing pretty good. And come up here. And this here, okay, I'm confused. I'm not sure if it is this or not because I got this and it's supposed to be some kind of an Asian pepper that's good for stir fries and stuff. So I pulled it off of that flat. When I got home and planted it, I realized it said this. So either they put the wrong plant in the Asian pepper flat. I can't remember the title of the pepper, so I'm just calling it an Asian pepper because I know it was an Asian variety. Or this is the wrong tag and it is the Asian one, so we will see. It is a darker leafy green than the other bell peppers, so it's possible that it still is what I wanted. Here is a bell pepper plant, clearly blooming and doing well. We have one bell pepper down there growing, if you can see it. He is growing steadily. I'm going to keep an eye on him for pests.
and it will be a purple bell pepper. So these are a purple variety. I thought that was interesting, never heard of it. And this morning while I was checking every leaf for bugs, I did find, I don't know if you can see it in there, an egg. It's all the way over here by my pinky. And I don't know what egg it is, but I've seen it on a few plants and I've removed them. So I decided to put one in a cup and see what hatches out of it to see if it's eggs I need to leave alone in the future. So I'm not sure if it's a pest or a helpful insect. So hopefully we'll find out when this comes out of the egg. And over here, this is, I heard a lot of good things about lunchbox orange sweet peppers. So that's what this is, and it is starting to bloom. If you look down in there, it is starting to bloom. So we should start seeing some of that as well here soon. And in the front here, I grew basil. The basil is doing really well. Seems like basil is easy to grow so far anyway, so that's doing well. Once again, I built another trellis. I don't want to show you too much of the neighbors' houses, so I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but this is just a handmade easy trellis, and it stands about 6 foot high. This is the final bed right here, and it looks like a lot going on because it is. So let's start with back here. These are green beans, but my green beans are not regular green beans. They're purple. So these will grow into purple beans. I thought that'd be more fun for the girls to play with and watch grow. This poor guy over here, if you look at him, I'm sorry if my fingers keep being in the way of the camera, but this poor guy, we had this really random tornado warning out of nowhere, and of course because it was out of nowhere, I couldn't really brace anything to get ready for a storm coming. So I came up from the basement after the tornado passed, and this poor guy was completely leaned over, hanging over the side of this box right here. So he has sticks holding him up. I'm gonna tie him down here soon, and he seems to still be producing, so we'll see. And then right here are marigolds, and also petunias are another flower that pests hate. So I didn't realize petunias grow like this, so just so you know, you will have to cut them back a lot. I keep them cut back to here because stuff is growing here, but they seem to work pretty well. I've only had one pest I've had to pull off of this plant. So, and down here are 3 jalapeno peppers. They take forever to grow if you don't know. Sorry if I'm really breathy. It's like really hot, and I'm sitting hunched over a lot to do this. So yeah, they're still pretty tiny right there, and these are just some random weeds that I'll pull out eventually. And this is some more basil. I forgot that I planted it over there, so now we're gonna have a ton of basil. So yeah, that is my garden, guys. So.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our garden tour. We will be doing a lot more content. I gotta just stay on top of doing the content for you guys on our garden and homeschooling stuff. So once again, don't forget the subscribe button and hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.